Hi, and welcome to Math Girl. I'm Math Girl. Let me put my little heart up here. And today we're going to talk about using area formulas. And guess who's hanging out with me today?
Olivia.
It's Olivia. Yay, Olivia. Olivia has the single greatest handwriting ever, but we'll talk about that later. Today we're going to talk about formulas. Now, Olivia, do you know when we use formulas the most? In math class. Hello. Well, in cooking too, I guess, but not in Cooking Mama. That's another conversation. We use math formulas all the time. We'll use them in trigonometry. We use them in algebra, but today we're going to talk about them
in geometry.
Yeah. So we've been talking a lot about area formulas. Now, if you're interested in learning how to use area formulas to find area, that's a different video. You're gonna have to go back like 3 screens and click on something else, leave a comment, do your thing. This video expects that you already know how to find area. This time we're going to use the area to find a different unknown. So why don't we begin? I tell my class, and this is my little video, this is what little Miss Helpful, this is Olivia. I tell my class there are 4 helpful steps to solving equations with formulas. Olivia, why don't you tell us what they are?
The first one is set up the formula you need.
And substitute the values you know.
And then simplify any operations.
And of course, at the end, solve for your variable. Hey, Olivia, you know why I call them the 4 steps?
So all the steps start with S.
Yeah, I like S's. I like big S's. Look, I have a big S. Just kidding. Why don't we start? So the area of triangle GHJ, this has an area of 24 square meters. And we know that the height is 8. So I'll put a height here. I'll drop an altitude. I'll call that 8. What is the length of the base? So we already know the area and we're figuring out what our base is. So what base would have given us an area of 24? Olivia, you remember the first thing we have to do to start here?
You have to set up.
Set up. So which formula would you like me to set up?
Area equals 1/2 base height.
Okay, that sounds good. Half of the base times the height. What's the second step?
You have to substitute.
Substitute the stuff you know. So we already know what our A is. Our area is 24, so I'll put a 24 here, equals, the 1/2 isn't going anywhere. The B is what we're looking for, so I'll just keep that as a B. And the H, that's height. We already have our height as being 8, so I'm going to put an 8 here. Now what do we do?
You have to simplify.
Simplify. So we're going to end up simplifying anything that we can. Can't really simplify the 24. That's kind of stuck. Here we have multiplication. 1/2 times B times 8. And since multiplication is associative, it really doesn't matter if I do half of B or half of 8 or 8 times B. The multiplication order means nothing. So I'll just do half of 8, which is 4B. Done simplifying. What's my last step?
To solve.
Solve. So at the end of this, I'm going to find out that B, our base, must have been 6. So since this is a word problem, it gets a word answer. The base is 6, what? Feet, miles, yards, bananas? What do you
Meters.
say? Meters, exactly. Since our question said that the area was in square meters, I figured that our base must have been in meters. All right, you want to try the next one?
Yeah.
All right, you're on your own.
Okay. The area of a rhombus is 15 squared centimeters. If the height is 2.5 centimeters, what is the length of one of the sides?
So why don't you draw in our picture?
So first you set up what you already know. So area equals 15 squared centimeters.
And we can start by saying we are looking for the length of one of the sides. So I will call that, I guess I'll call that L.
And then the height is 2.5 centimeters.
So drop that altitude.
And then this is 2.5 centimeters.
So let's set up. What equation would you like me to set up?
Area equals base times height.
Length times width or base times height. Good call. I was going to write length times width, but I guess it's the same thing. Our base times our height.
The next step is to substitute anything you know. So we know the area is 15, so we put that in for the A. And then we know that the height is 2.5 centimeters, so we leave the B there and put 2.5 here.
And since we're multiplying, I'll make sure that I'll put either parentheses or a multiplication sign. And at the end of this, we're done with b equaling whatever 15 divided by 2.5 was. Oh my gosh, we should have gotten a calculator before we even tried the problem. Oy vey. Now we're going to be looking at each other trying to figure out what 15 divided by 2.5 is. Oh, I'm just messing with you. The answer is 6. Let's try a little bit more challenging. Did you see what I did? I just walked away from this problem without finishing. We could have said the base is 6 centimeters. Since word problems get word answers. Okay, a little bit more of a challenge. Trapezoid ABCD has an area of 200. So let's call this guy ABCD. This has an area of 200 square centimeters. The base is 17. We know the height is 10. And we have to figure out how long the other base is. Do you know what formula we're going to have to set up here?
You use area equals 1/2 parentheses base 1 plus base 2, and you close the parentheses and then multiply by height.
So let's substitute. We know 200 is half of
17 plus base 2, and then the height you know is 10.
And again, we're going to have to simplify anything we can. We can't simplify in here, but I can simplify out here. So 200 is 5 multiplied by 17 plus whatever our base is. Now we have a choice, Olivia. What do you think you want to do? You want to distribute out this 5 and deal with it later, or do you want to deal with it right now?
Deal with it right now.
Let's deal with it right now. Let's divide this bad boy by 5. And when we divide by 5, those 5s go away. They don't like each other, and we end up with 40 equals
17 plus base.
And when we do a little bit of subtracting, it turns out that our base is 23. Oh, I didn't need a calculator for that. So here we have that our base is 23 bananas. No, just kidding. It's 23 centimeters. And we're going to try one more. And this one is a bit of a challenge. It's still a trapezoid, which is our most complicated one. But this trapezoid is actually going to end up with a quadratic in it. Oh my gosh, I think Olivia just passed out. Olivia, here we know that this much is x squared plus 2. We have the other base is 3x plus 1. Our height is 6, and that the area is 93 square meters. So what would you like to do first?
You have to set up your formula.
So half of base 1 plus base 2 times the height. Go for it.
And then you substitute anything you know. So 93 equals 1/2 of x squared plus x.
X squared plus 2.
And 3x plus 1.
And our height we know is 6. And then we're going to have to clean this up a little bit, right? So 93 is half of x squared plus 3x plus 3 multiplied by 6. And what do you want to do now?
You can take out the 6 and the 1/2. So it's 93 equals 3 times x squared plus 3x plus 3.
And of course, at this point, when we have a number multiplying an entire parentheses, we can either distribute it out or divide it out. I'm going to choose to divide it out just so I can get rid of that. Plus, I noticed that the 93 and the 3, they play nicely together. So our final result here is x squared plus 3x plus 3 has a beautiful answer of 31. Uh-oh, Olivia. Remember our quadratic. So what do you want to do now?
You have to equal the formula to 0.
Perfect.
So you take 31 and put it on the other side.
So that means that 0 is going to equal x squared plus 3x minus 28. And I will solve this quadratic by factoring it. I'll use my zero product property and two numbers that multiply to negative 28 but have a sum of 3. That's easy. It's going to be positive 7 and negative 4. One more time, negative 28 or and positive 3. So x plus 7 and x minus 4. So our final answers are going to be either
negative 7 or positive 4.
Now, do you really think I'm going to leave it there? Come on, Olivia. What's the good deal here? What do we have to do?
You have to check which one works.
I'm going to guess that it's going to be the 4 that we can't have a negative value. So I'm going to reject our negative and use the 4. So 4 squared plus 2 means that this base is 18, and 3 times 4 plus 1 is that this base is 13, and that we've answered our questions. Well, thanks so much for joining us. This ends another fantabulous episode of Math Girl. Hey, Olivia, you know what that means?
Means I heart Math Girl.
I heart Math Girl too. Yay! I'll talk to you guys later.